The untold history of South Africa. We often think South Africa's history begins in 1652. But the story of South Africa started 1,600 to 1,700 years earlier. In this first episode of our comprehensive series, we uncover the world before the colony. From the ancient San hunters and gatherers and the powerful trading kingdom of Mapungubwe, to the first Portuguese explorers battling the Cape of Storms, we explore a land of rich culture and trade. We then trace the arrival of the Dutch, the brutal reality of slave trade, and the rise of the Trekboers, farmers who pushed east to escape colonial rule, setting the stage for a century of conflict. Welcome back to our channel. I'm Raymond Rich. To understand the South Africa we see today, from our complex cities to our diverse cultures, we have to go back, way back. Today, in part 1 of our 4-part journey, we are traveling from the ancient rock art of the San all the way to that moment that the British flag was planted firmly in the Cape Sand. Let's step back in time. History didn't start in 1652. For thousands of years, the San hunters and gatherers roamed these plains. By around 100 AD, they were joined by and often displaced by the Khoikhoi, nomadic herders in livestock. While Europe was still in the Dark Ages, Southern Africa saw the rise of the kingdom of Mapungubwe. Between the ages of 900 and 1300 AD, they weren't just farmers. They were traders exchanging gold and ivory with China and India, long before the European ships ever rounded the Cape. But the world was getting smaller. In the late 1400s, the Portuguese were desperate for spices. Bartolomeu Dias rounded our Cape of Storms in 1488. 10 years later, Vasco da Gama. They didn't stay, but they put us on the map. The real change came by accident. In 1647, the Dutch ship New Haarlem wrecked itself in Table Bay. The survivors camped there for a year, and when they reported back, they said the soil was fertile and the water was fresh. So in 1652, the VOC sent Jan van Riebeeck not to colonize, but to build a vegetable garden for passing ships. Of course, gardens need labor, and in 1657 the first free burghers were released on farmlands in the surrounding area. And in 1658 a dark chapter began. The first slaves were brought in from Angola and West Africa. The slave labor became the engine of the Cape Colony. As the Dutch expanded their land, conflict was inevitable. The Khoikhoi were pushed off their grazing land, leading to their first war of dispossession. Then, in 1713, a tragedy struck that no spear could stop. Smallpox. It decimated the Khoi population, killing nearly 90% of them. By the 1700s, a new person emerged, the Trekboer. But make no mistake, this wasn't just about finding better grazing for their cattle. These farmers, descendants of Dutch, German and French, were fiercely independent. First they moved to escape the Dutch company's taxes, but then the British arrived. Things got worse. The British administrators didn't see these farmers as their equals. They looked down on them. The Boers didn't just want land. They wanted to get out from under the thumb from those that didn't respect them. Back in Europe, Napoleon was conquering everything. To keep the Cape out of the French hands, the British seized it in 1795, then gave it back in 1803 and took control of it in 1806. By 1806, the board was set. You had the British ruling the Cape, the unhappy Boers looking north, and the powerful African kingdoms like the Zulu and the Xhosa guarding their lands. The pressure was building. Join me on our next episode, where that pressure explodes. We'll cover the rise of Shaka Zulu, the Great Trek, and the shiny stones that changed everything. I'm Raymond Rich. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And don't forget part 2. And as we say in Afrikaans, tot ziens.